Hello and welcome to a special program called Cricket Predicta. You're with me, Sunil Yashkalra, and this program is sponsored by 1xBet. We're making infrastructures, Delhi NCR. Team India showcased their brilliance with both bat, ball, and more importantly, catching the in the slip cordons. That was very important. England had a massive 336 runs defeat in the second test, leveling the 5-test match series 1-1. But the headline is India has won a test match at Edgbaston finally in their career. Yes, when you were legends like Kapil Dev, MS Dhoni, Virat Kohli couldn't script any win. We had Shubman Gill, young in his second test as captain, brought home a historic win and became the king of Birmingham. Yes, India piled up 587 runs in the first innings, bundled England out for 407 and a 180-run lead. Then declared at 427 runs in the second innings, setting a mammoth total of 608 runs. On day 5, England was bowled out at 271, handing India their biggest ever test win by runs. Player of the match? No guesses. It was Shubman Gill, who not only scored a century but also led a remarkable maturity as a skipper. The game changer was Akashdeep. In his just second test match, he picked up 10 wickets, including 6 in the second innings. Despite the rain-delayed start, Akash struck early on with his 2 massive blows, dismissing England top-order batting lineup. But Jadeja's presence of mind was key too. He bowled his 40th over under 2 minutes to earn India an extra over. And guess what happens in the next over? Washington Sundar removes Ben Stokes, a moment that turned the match. England's Jamie Smith fought valiantly, scoring 88 runs but couldn't resurrect the match. And now let's look at what do we have in the WTC points table. India moves up to the 4th place with 12 points with 50% points percentage. England, after this loss, slips to 5th. The next test begins on 10th at Lord's, yes, and fans will be hoping for a magical comeback. But before we talk about the next test match, let's talk to 3 of our famous guests. Let me welcome John Nyambu. John, welcome to the show. It's nice and sunny in England, as we could see on television screen. How is it in England today? And also, with this, Shubman Gill becomes the first Indian captain to win it at Edgbaston. Yes, that's a record that none of the earlier captains have had the luck and the audacity to win at that point. Your views?
I would like to think that this test victory at Edgbaston is a huge win for Shubman Gill as a captain, in his infancy as a captain as well. But I think also that we shouldn't look too far ahead and too far back, if we may say, by comparing him to the other great captains that India has had and that haven't managed to win at Edgbaston. But I think we should just stay in the now and just celebrate this achievement by Shubman Gill. And it was a test of character for the Indian team. They didn't have their strongest bowling lineup. They batted well, and to his credit, Shubman Gill managed to rotate his ball as well. And as a batter, managed to put the team in a position that was favouring the Indians, as the worst case scenario they could have had was a draw. But I think for Shubman's sake and for all of Indian cricketers' sake, I think we should just remain in the now and let them enjoy this big victory, this big achievement, without comparing them to the other greats, because he's a different captain from the others. He's a new captain, he's a young captain, he's still got much to learn. But that's why I think we should just take it one step at a time and let the Indian team, let the Indian nation just celebrate this massive achievement.
John, let me put things into perspective by asking you, 1692 runs scored in this test, highest ever in India-England history. Does this signal of maturity of a pace unit, growing depth into overseas bowling as well as fast batting? Your views?
I think the Mammoth score or scores posted by the Indian batters is due to two things. It's one, I think the wicket allowed them to be able to score like that, and two, I think they were able to be disciplined and not get carried away by the flatness of the surface to be able to go all guns blazing, but they better time. They betted according to situation. When they needed to up the ante, they knew that they had guys like Rishi Pant, guys like Jaiswal, Jadeja. Even at the end, there he managed to up the run rate. But then you found that guys like KL Rahul just betted the way they do, just took their time, just played the proper cricket shots and just played ball by ball. Shubman Gill was exceptional in both innings, and he just played. And in the second innings, that's when they were trying to set the game up, that's when he stepped on the accelerator a little bit and managed to score at a high rate. But I think the discipline that the Indian batters showed is the biggest achievement they've had in the depth that you're saying of this batting lineup, because we had Washington Sundar, I think he was batting 8, and he's a proper all-rounder who can score you runs and take wickets for you. So yes, they've got depth, but with that depth, they managed to use it wisely. They managed to adapt to the situation and bet it according to what they needed to do as a team to ensure that, one, they scored those runs, and two, they still managed to keep the English bowlers in the sun, the English batters fielding for a long time, that got the heavy feet and the lack of foot movement. And yeah, I think it was a well executed plan, and that depth in the longer format is beginning to show. But for me, like I said, the most important thing is how that depth is being used, is how that depth is actually batting.
India has now won test matches in Sena countries without Jasprit Bumrah. Yes, the talk was that Jasprit Bumrah was the key man, but here India won the match without him. Does this signal a maturing pace unit, growing depth, or do we talk about English batting side not living up to the mark?
I would like to answer this question in two ways. The first, just to acknowledge the beauty and the tact and the skill and the way Jamie Smith executed his batting in this test. I mean, he batted so well in the first innings. Wickets were falling around him, but he just kept his cool, just batted the way he did. Same in the second innings, and it was so good to see. And people might not have thought he was as good as he was, but like every sportsman likes doing, like every elite sportsman likes doing, he likes making statements to show how good they are. And this was a statement by Jamie Smith to say, this is Jamie Smith, wicket-keeper bat, I can keep and I can also score runs. And it was a remarkable achievement, and it's now ranked with the likes of a young Rishi Pant, who's so exceptional. My fellow Zimbabwean Andy Flower was so good with the bat and the gloves. So he's in good company with the grades. But then the second thing is, I know you'll be very disappointed that he couldn't get a positive result out of this game. And for me, a positive result going in to this day was England playing for a draw. But we all know they say they don't play for draws. They like to entertain, they like to go for the win. But coming in at in the morning, 3 down, it was no brainer. Buckle down and then take the egos out of the way and make sure that you get a positive draw. Because for me, at England 1, it was going to be a draw. They go to Lords, leading 1-0. And with a very rejuvenated batting team, now their bowlers are tired, and they have to start afresh. But India is on the rise, so well played by Jamie Smith. But unfortunately, the team let him down by not getting him a positive result, which was a draw for me. Thank you.
Well, this is something which you would enjoy answering. Ravindra Jadeja, in the 40th over, just completed in 2 minutes now. This is a technical stuff. Just explain it to our viewers what it means. Earning India an extra over just before the break. Guess what? Washington Sundar comes in, bowls the 41st over and gets Ben Stokes out. If Jadeja would have extended the over above 2 minutes. Do you think Washington Sundar would have had a chance to go at the English batsman then? Your views?
There was a bit of class and a bit of magic from Jadu there to bowl that that over in 2 minutes, because it ensured, like we said, like we saw, that it ensured that Washington Sundar bowls another over, and bowls another over to the left-hander as well, which is always a good matchup when an off-spinner is bowling to a left-hander. And it's key moments like that don't need skill, that don't need anything but tact, but awareness from such an experienced bowler to know that, okay, if we bowl another over, the batters are looking forward to going for a break, and their guard is not that high. We could get a wicket, and it happened like that. I remember I played in a 4-day game, similar type of wicket where there was nothing happening, and our coach came to us and said, we need to make sure we get to the new ball. I would like you to bowl, because the new ball was about 25 overs away. I would like you to bowl these 25 overs in an hour. No short leg, no nothing. Just run in, just hit the mark and bowl as many maidens and restrict them as possible. And funny enough, we got the new ball, and our seamers managed to make the inroads. So this similar thing to what Jadu just did in this test, and it will go a long way in the Indians remembering that moment, in the Indians remembering this win, in the Indians celebrating this massive achievement at Edgbaston. I remember even in the previous episodes I spoke about how this is looking similar to the Gabba test, where India was down and out, where they thought they were not going to win, a depleted bowling attack, and they managed to pull the rabbit out of the hat and conjure up a victory. So it's very good from Jadeja. The awareness, very good from Washington as well, to come in and bowl that over the way he did to get a wicket. So plan well executed. Well done.
Before I let you go, John, let me ask you about Jamie Smith's 272 runs. 184 and 88 in Birmingham put him the third on all-time list of highest run scorers by a wicket keeper. Do you think this feat is remarkable as compared to what Andy Flower, your former teammate, and Rishabh Pant has done? Is it at par with that?
I'd like to think in the midst of adversity, that's when that's when champions are born, and like you just alluded to, that they've won two massive test matches, two grounds that the opposition they were playing against is meant to be at its most formidable, at the Gabba, when everyone thought that a depleted in India team will go to the Gabba and get pummeled, because prior to that in the test match they'd been rolled over as well. Now going to Edgbaston after having lost a test match to a fortress that England says that they rarely lose there, and not have their biggest arsenal in the bowling attack playing and still managing to win, is a massive show of character by the bowling group. Siraj stepped up, Deep stepped up, and this is the time where, as a coaching department, as a bowling department, Mona Moko and his crew are sitting back and enjoying the fruits of the preparations that they've put, because they knew that there will come a time where they'll have to play a test match without Bumrah, and you could sort of like say, when Bumrah is there, they tend to relax a little bit because they think he's going to do the damage, he's going to get the wickets for them. But when he's not there, you find that they know that all of them have to pull finger and then ensure that they pull their weight, and ensure that they bowl the channels, and ensure that if they need to be aggressive, they get aggressive. If they need to hold, they get hold. And it was so testament in this test match at Edgbaston, flat track, up against a best bowling England team that had won a test match before this, with Bumrah playing. So I'm sure a lot of people had thought that this was going to be an easy victory for England. But kudos to to the bowling group that stepped up and got the 20 wickets that they didn't get in the past season. Because I always believe for you to win a test match, you need to take 20 wickets, so which means your bowlers have to be on point all the time.
Well, thank you, John. We'll let you go with that. Thank you for the elaborate and very explaining the technical questions in greater details. Thank you very much. Now, let me welcome Tos Rizvi. Tos Rizvi, of course, the boy from Mumbai Maidan, joins us. He's an ardent follower of the game and a very critical voice too. Tos, India has now become the first Asian team to win at Edgbaston. Remember, it's a breakthrough considering venue's long-standing record at the Fortress in England. Do you think they finally managed to breach the psychological wall?
No, definitely, I will term it as one of the greatest wins, considering the way they have delivered it, the way the runs were scored. Massive runs with double hundred followed by 161, followed by the great bowling from Team India. Of course, the situation was not in favor of India, especially after losing the first test match at Headingley and Bumrah not being there. So some way or the other, this team wasn't like people didn't expect much. Also, we are going through a transition. If we talk about Rohit and Virat Kohli, retiring from test matches, and a young captain who's playing for the first time at number 4, where Virat Kohli used to play. So all these situations, collectively, it makes a very, very questionable scene for a team that is going through a period where people will question some way or the other, and a lot of players playing in England for the first time, including Yashasvi Jaiswal and Akashdeep. But overall, I think it's one of the biggest wins, I would say. One of the happiest dressing rooms, I believe, considering 336 is not a joke. I mean, beating England in England, and considering they have a very, very good side, and the way they win last time, they managed to overcome a huge target. This time they couldn't, because we had a better total in the first innings. And then we followed with a great discipline bowling from the bowlers, fast bowlers, especially Siraj and Akashdeep. Some way or the other, I would call it breaking the fortress completely of England is one of the joyous moments, I believe. And especially for this team, they can celebrate for another 2-3 days because this kind of a win, a big win, comes very rare.
Well, India's 336 runs victory at Edgbaston seems to be the joint third biggest victory in Test cricket. Does it talk about Indians' dominance and how they've managed to come back after the loss of 2 of the biggest names or 3 of the biggest names in their leading side? Your views?
So I don't believe in comparing victories. Every victory comes in different situation, different conditions, different opposition, and you never know what's the scene of that particular team. But this would be, I would rate it one of the top 5 among the top 5, considering whatever I said before, the way they managed to win this game, the way Shubman Gill managed to bat and get a double hundred followed by a 160 plus score is not a cakewalk, right? Test cricket is a patience play where you have to put in a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, and that is what is needed. And the way the team has delivered with a lot of discipline. The best part was they did not play under pressure. Without Virat, without Kohli, they will.
I always believe for you to win a test match,